Okay, back with another look at another Nintendo Power. This is volume 46 for March 1993. You see Tiny Toon Adventures of Buster Bust Loose is on the front. Pack Watch Winter CES. Before E3 there was Consumer Electronics Show. You see, I think they put the date on here, the month here now, starting with this issue. I don't know if it was like that on the last issue. It was. Okay, it was. I'm just not noticing it. Oh, crap. 1 second. Okay, sorry. So you have Buster and Babs Bunny here on the front. And join the club. More power. This is a subscription card I must have torn out, or maybe that was the cards for the power trading cards that I tore out. A pretty similar ad for the Power Club, where the pros play. This is an ad for sports games. Let me check and see if my mic is picking up here. Yeah, it looks like it's picking up. That's good. So no other 16-bit system can compete in the same ballpark. Coming soon. Amazing Tennis. So look at all these sports games for the Super Nintendo. Rock and Roll Racing, Pro Quarterback, Top Gear 2, Super Play Action Football, John Madden Football 92, 93, California Games 2, which I didn't know they made a sequel to that, Bill and Bear's Combat Basketball, Battle Dodgeball, lots of sports games. So again, once again, in teal here, you have the Super Nintendo, Game Boy, NES getting third billing. Tips from the pros, the Info Zone, video updates and comics, Star Fox Part 2, and then normal Players Forum, Players Pulse, Power Players Challenge, Nestor Awards in the top 20. No news, so here is the letters section. No news on Street Fighter 2. Hi, my name is David Arnold, and I confess that I'm an addicted to Street Fighter 2. Yeah, like a lot of kids then, in 93. I used to play it for hours on end in the arcades. But now that it's available for the Super NES, what reason is there to go out? It's simply the best game ever. By the way, thanks for printing the secret codes that let you be the same characters you're fighting against. Now to my question. I'd like to know, I'm dying to know, if there is a code that lets you play as one of the 4 end bosses. Is there? David Arnold, Nashville, Tennessee. Nintendo Power responds, as far as we know, David, the answer is no. There is no such code. If there is such a thing, Capcom has it securely under wraps, and they're not really talking. So it wasn't a code because they were putting out Street Fighter 2 Turbo where you could actually play as the bosses, Sagat, Balrog, and so on, which would come out a year later, I think. Now, about those cards. I have some questions about the trading cards that Nintendo Power has been putting in the back of the magazine. How come you don't print a list of winners? How many cards am I going to need to get a full set? I'm not sure what their value is to a collector, but I like them a lot. That's from Jamie Alvarez, Livonia, Michigan. Nintendo Power answers, if you send a legal-sized self-addressed stamp envelope to the address printed on the back of the trading cards page after the contest ends for the month, you're curious about, we'll send you a list of winners. We're planning on printing 72 Power Challenge trading cards in the first set. That's the number you'll need to collect for a full set. Good luck. So there's 72 cards. Calling all counselors. I want to be a game counselor for Nintendo. How can I become one? That's Dan McGill, Boise, Idaho. Nintendo Power says, Our game counselors must have excellent gameplay skills, be able to explain complex gameplay strategies, and be at least 16 years of age. They must live in the greater Seattle area. It's a long commute if you don't. Check the Seattle newspapers for job openings. And here's the winning combination of power cards for March 1993. Gauntlet 2, Adventure Island, and Lemmings. Card number 54, 24, and 13. Space Shuttle launch. The Central Florida coast is midsummer May not everyone's idea of a dream vacation? But for Alex Guasco, winner of the Space Shuttle Players Poll Contest, it was a real blast. Alex and his mom Hilda flew in from Houston to watch the 25th shuttle mission live from the restricted viewing area. The blast wasn't the only show in town, though. Alex also checked out the Kennedy Space Center, the Astronaut Hall of Fame, and wavering of the Banana River. Wave running on the Banana River with his buddy Travis Horton, who came down from Fort Lauderdale. In September, Alex embarked on the second part of his prize, a week at Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama, where he learned the ins and outs of opening the shuttle with a team of other space campers. Video and Arcade Top 10 has successfully cornered the Canadian youth market with a magazine format TV show. Video game fans can tune in to YTV on Fridays at 6:30 p.m. and Sundays at 7 p.m. Our viewers can tune in every week to find out the latest developments and trends in video games, technology, music, and movies. The theme of Video and Arcade Top 10 is Play the Game, says show producer Mimi Shea. The showcase of each episode features head-to-head video game competition between 4 players. And here we go, Star Fox releasing. We have a big... I don't know why this wasn't on the cover. I think next month it might be, or one of the months coming up. It may just be on the cover. Yeah, it's next month's. It's on the cover. So they're really gearing up for Star Fox. Let me just mute this bot here. There we go. So, a super debut. Nintendo's Star Fox is the first of a new breed of games. At its heart is the amazing Super FX chip, a mini computer built right into the game pack. As Fox McCloud and his cronies, they try to save Corneria. They, and you, experience 3D realism never before seen on any video game system. And Star Fox is flying in. A new star is rising in the video game universe. They show the intro here, which is pretty cool to show off the polygons. All systems go. In Star Fox, you are the pilot of a state-of-the-art interplanetary fighter called an R-Wing. Along with 3 mercenary wingmen, you must battle through multiple stages filled with 3D landscapes and enemies. Choose one of 3 paths leading to the final battle on Venom. One path is fairly easy, while the others are progressively more difficult. In each stage, you fly down a 3D video corridor in which you can maneuver your ship in any forward direction. Besides simply surviving, you should gather power-ups, help your wingmen when they're in trouble, blast every Imperial ship in sight, and pass through the mid-stage goal. Set up the controller buttons, functions by selecting one of 4 options in the setup screen. You also have a test flight window. Course select depending on your talents. As a star pilot, you may choose any of the 3 game courses which vary in difficulty. Here are your characters. Slippy. Like most frogs, Slippy has a big mouth. It can get him in a lot of trouble, so you may have to bail him out. Peppy. Peppy is an old veteran. I really like this puppets they use for this. These guys are on the box too. I don't know whatever happened to these. I'd like to have... Wouldn't it be cool to have like one of these puppets? Peppy is an old veteran, wise in the ways of the enemy. Listen to his advice. Falco. He's one of the finest star pilots in the Lilat system, but he has a mind of his own. Fox McCloud leads the team. He claims to fight the Empire for money, but he's always broke, having given away everything to the poor. So they set him up like Robin Hood. Rob from the rich, give to the poor. The Fxr Wing, developed by the independent planet of Corneria, is the most advanced space fighter in existence. The ship is so complex, however, that only a handful of pilots can fly it successfully. That is where the Star Fox team comes in. Each of the 4 R-Wings has a laser cannon and Nova bombs. They also have boosters to speed them forward and retro rockets wings to slow down their progress. The R-Wing's devastating flash bomb destroys everything in its range. The entire screen except for stage and bosses. The bomb will partially damage a boss. The R-Wing maneuvers smoothly and intuitively for some of the strongest play control ever seen or left in the crowded space. You may have to use a barrel rolls to escape undamaged. There's a top view. They show the stabilizers, the cockpit, just a cool little because the issue before they were hyping this up, that you could actually do like a cutout model of the R-Wing, which I did because it was cut out from the magazine. Hey Ninja, you're becoming more like your father. How's it going, Ninja? Yes. Look at these puppets. Look at these animals, Ninja. The Fox crew. I'd like to have one of those. How's it going, Ninja? It's Star Fox, not Star. Oh wait, it would be Star Hair because of Peppy. The flight corridor, supply ring. So they're just hyping it up. It's coming out. They had issue 1 of the comic last issue. They're hyping it up with like preview here, and the next issue will be the cover story of Star Fox. You'll see him on the front. Twin blasters, Sector X, Space Armada, Venom, asteroids, different levels, your different paths. Fortunia. 3D mapping. They show like the first stage, which is kind of cool, in like a 3D map. Star Fox Puppets E3. Oh yeah, where Reggie and Iwata fought or turned into Muppets, like Star Fox team members. That was pretty cool. That was like one of the last things Iwata did. I don't, because he died in July of that year, right? Tower gates, large gateways, tower troubles, the towers have fallen on. Let's go. Next month here, they're hyping it up. Next month, look for a detailed review of Star Fox strategies for all 3 courses, including special 3D view maps of critical areas. You'll also learn more about how the 3 wingmen enter into the game, how the scoring works, and how you can fly the perfect courses. Once you get your paws on the controls of your own R-Wing, you'll need all the tactical support you can get. So this is just a little to wet your whistle for Star Fox coming up. Super Strike Eagle, here's another flying game. More realistic. Looks like a sim almost, with some Mode 7. Never heard of this game. Super Conflict, War in the Gulf, I think it's called. I think this was the one that had a 16-bit rendition of General Schwarzkopf in it. So Conflict was a game on the NES, which I have. It's a tactical game with hex grids, and I think this is the sequel to it. It's just a strategy game. Nothing great to look at. This is the improvement of it, I think. Fighters, bombers, helicopters, tanks, different units and stuff. Battlegrounds. Move on like a hex grid. I think Tokai's newest release breaks new ground in the simulation genres of video games. Players can wage war against enemies in more than 55 different scenarios. Like a bona fide general, you may manipulate your forces to engage the enemy troops, tanks, ships, and jet fighters to ultimately capture their flag, tank, or flagship. I think that's a sequel to Conflict on the NES. I'm not sure, though. Head-to-head. After playing with the one-player mode for a while, you can usually predict where the computer player will position his forces. Playing against a human can be challenging and can be much more difficult. Yep. Wayne's World. I think Wayne's World is one of the movies I used to go at my friend's house, and we used to watch that over and over again, at least like 2 times a day. Just watch it, do something, and watch it again. It was either that or Wayne's World 2. I forget which one. I do have this game. I've never put it in. I think it's not well regarded, but I think the movie was out at this time or coming out, so they had to have a game for it. See, the sprites are like digitally like captured almost. They put their faces on these bodies. The level design looks terrible, but I've never played this game. Straight from the public access Cable 10 of Aurora, Illinois, to your Super NES comes Wayne's World, the video game. At its most primitive level, Wayne's World harkens back to such side-scrolling action games as Super Mario Bros., where the player, through on-screen graphically avatar, explores a computer world consisting of a labyrinth of platforms and pre-programmed obstacles. While these types of enemies tend to be a bit dull-witted, they are nonetheless dangerous and can make for entertaining and challenging gameplay. Experience, but we digress. Wayne's World by THQ offers fun for fans of the hit movie and Saturday Night Live TV sketch. Its standard gameplay mechanics also make it accessible to those who do not get Cable 10. All you need is a Super NES. In the Gutter Shop, Part 2. Look at these levels. They look terrible to play. Donut Shop. The Gasworks. Suburbia. Here is the cover of Tiny Toon Adventures Buster Bust Loose. This is a good game. Now, the second level is probably the hardest. It really initiates you into the game. It's like some auto-scrolling section. It takes place in the Wild West. Buster Buddy could run like Sonic. He can run like up walls and stuff, and you have to use that mechanic. I remember the second level being tough because you had to really memorize where to jump. But it's a decent game. It's one of those games where you can only get the real ending if you beat it on normal mode or higher. If you beat it on easy, it stops at the level before the last, penultimate one. There's Dizzy, you fight Dizzy Devil, Montana Max. This is the second level. This is the hardest level, I think, in the game for me. It really took me practice. This part right here, you have to memorize where to run and jump. There's like an auto-scroller train section here. It's just area in particular is pretty tough. Babs Bunny, Mad Scientists. You have to beat that robot. Oh, the football game where you play a game of football. It's kind of interesting. Like you have to get 10 yards to get a first down and stuff. Tiny Toons, huh? Sounds like a weird fad. It's, I think people my age still like Tiny Toons. I haven't watched it in years and years, though. But it was really popular then. Around this time, 93. I used to watch it. This game is pretty fun. If you can get past the early difficulty spike, it's worth playing. You might not like the football stage either. It's kind of weird. The sky level where you're on a blimp. I think you go down, drop down this corridor is pretty tough. So there's some challenge to it. It's pretty neat. And see, I ripped out the poster here. I'd like to know where my posters are. They have to be in a folder somewhere, I'm thinking. King Arthur's World. This one can be played with the SNES mouse. It's a tactical game. Jellicoe's new puzzle game. Oh, it's a puzzle game. I was mistaken. Puzzle game King Arthur's World is an interesting addition to the Super NES lineup. It features Dolby surround sound and a grid password system, and the player controls the on-screen action with either a regular controller or the Super NES mouse. It's an Arthurian quest that sends knights errant through 3 realms and 23 levels. King Arthur is about to set out on a new series of quests, and he has to summon brave men throughout his kingdom to join him. His standards are high, and only the best armor among them will pass the rigorous test and become Arthurian knights. Those who do will follow him throughout his quest in the real world and beyond. So there's your different characters: soldiers, engineers, archers, black wizards, white wizards, barrelmen, knights, and the king. Training level 1, training level 2. They said there's 23 levels. It looks almost like Lemmings graphics. And then once you're done with the training, into the real world. Battle of Windsor's Tower, Battle of High Castle, the Realms Beyond. Classified information. You have Wing Commander, Prince of Persia, Skulljagger, Pilot Wings, Top Gun Second Mission for NES, Super Spy Hunter, Powered Up Car. This is a great game. Power Punch 2, Smash TV. And here's a second Star Fox comic. This is Act 2, Silver Wings. And here's Fox. And you see Peppy back here. Wham! How's the picnic, Falco? 1 lizard sandwich coming up. Smack. How about some stir fry? And Fox shoots him and fries him. I guess they didn't expect such hazardous cargo. But why send Imperial troops? On a freighter? Something strange is going on. Stand still, scumbait, or the girl gets it. Some hero you are, Fox McCloud. Is he bluffing? Who is the hostage? It's no bluff. That's Farah Phoenix, daughter of the spaceship Magnata. Yes. How clever. Father Phoenix over there is dying to see what you'll do. Now drop your weapon. I've got what I want. Time to leave. Move your tail, precious. Sorry, no time for one of your famous last-second rescues, McCloud. Splash, splam. Hey, ya, Fox. Good timing, Slippy. We could have used your help earlier, Frogface. Sorry, guys. I was taking a bath. Take it easy on him. He really cleaned up. Oh, there's Slippy. He's here. See, Ninja? He's here. There he is. I am Mr. Fox McCloud. Well done. Mrs. Phoenix is very grateful. How grateful, I wonder. First class ticket would be nice. You could have asked for a moon. Moons aren't nearly as comfortable. Besides, I've got other things on my mind. Like testing those new R-Wing fighters. Farah Phoenix, nice name. Whoosh! Whoosh, whoosh! How's the training going, Lieutenant? Very well, General. The team has achieved a rating of 115%. Open a channel to Fox. Aye, sir. Fox, Pepper here. Want me to pick you up some salt? Yes, Slippy is there. Don't be a wise guy. Sorry, it's just that these ships really cook. I can fly circles, squadrons, and triangles around any Imperial fighters. Don't get cocky, Fox. Imperial fighters aren't your only worry. What are you talking about? It must be a test. I really hate tests. Fox, bogey on your 6. I've got your wing covered. Who is that clown? That's no bogey. Hold your fire. Thank you, gentlemen. That's the second time you've saved my life. Who? Hello again. Mind if I drop in? Farrah Phoenix! So what? What's a nice girl like you? Save it, Fox. I've been flying since I was a kid. Why do you think I'm chief test pilot? Think you can catch me? Whoosh, swoosh. They're going the wrong way. Try telling that to Fox. General, 2 of the R-Wings have entered Imperial space. Oh no. To be continued. It's like they're gonna fight some of Andross's troops. Here's Adventure Island 2 for Game Boy. Aliens in Paradise. Master Higgins there with his girlfriend Tina. Milon's Secret Castle. I think this is a port. Yeah, this is the port of the NES game. Just on the Game Boy. Defy the Demon Warlord. Ah, yes, that tried and true theme. Someone took over my castle, and now I have to get it back and save the princess. Comes to life again in Milon's Secret Castle. No matter what you may think of the game's unoriginal premise, Hudson Soft has managed to come up with a super game. All of the people who live in the land of Hudson have the ability to communicate through music. All of them, that is, except Milon. So he set off to a distant lands in search of musical wisdom. When he returned to his home, he found that the terrible battle had taken place, and that his once glorious castle was now controlled by the warlord and his minions. Now, the main objective for Milon in this castle-conquering adventure is to rescue Queen Eliza and take back his castle. However, before going through with this noble feat, Milon must defeat the hideous creatures that guard the 7 magical crystal balls. Barnaby, the castle wizard, can help Milon by offering him hints and items. Item Mania. Milon will collect a wealth of items on his journey throughout the castle. Each item has its own function and will be important to have, as Barnaby the wizard says. If you cannot proceed to the next level, you probably missed something along the way. With this statement, he's referring to the items. A key, the most important item, is to find is Milon's ticket to each level's exit. Break blocks with the energy bubbles to find cash also. The key appears when Milon uses it. The key appears Milon uses it to exit a maze he is currently in when he undercovers the door. Milon can get a couple of hints from Barnaby and buy an item when he enters the item shop. The exit, if Milon has a key in his possession, he can leave the area and go on to the next. This is one of the bosses that Milon will have to battle. Nail them with the energy bubble. Umbrella. Some enemies, when destroyed, will release this umbrella. If Milon grabs this before it floats away, he'll be able to blast his energy bubbles in a rapid-fire manner. Honeycomb. A very important item indeed. Finding one of these items will fill up Milon's energy and add one more extra bar of energy gauge to his energy gauge. The more energy Milon has, the better off he'll be. Jump shoes. Milon will need these to help to reach special boots to propel him to greater heights. Lamp, hammer, feather, tube, roller shoes, crown, crystal, medicine, vest, saw, sword, balloon ship, ice bottle, and cane. So it looks like a straight port of the NES game. Krusty's Funhouse, a port of the NES and Super Nintendo game to Game Boy. The Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Impressive. Most impressive. The Force is With You, A Dark Time for the Rebellion. Super Star Wars. Counselor Square. How do I beat Jawenko, the Lava Beast? Rodney Walker, the counselor here, covers that. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, How Do I Get Through the Falls Basin? Shannon O'Neill covers that here. Mega Man 5, which boss should I battle first? That's Andy Frickle, talks about that. Why do I have to spell Mega Man 5? Where do I find the letter G? King's Quest 5, How do I keep the witch from turning me into a frog? That's Tim Watson. Players challenges. Here's the challenges for Super Nintendo, Game Boy, and NES. And here's the kids' scores and if they beat it or not. Telling you how to take a picture of the TV screen with the camera. Alien 3. After crashing onto the extremely desolate planet Fiorina 161, Ripley is awakened from deep cryotube slumber and finds herself in the midst of the dreaded aliens once again. Fiorina's 161 isn't exactly tropical paradise. It's prison for hundreds of criminals. What an excellent place for a crash landing. Unlike the movie of the same name, Alien 3, the game has weapons for Ridley to use in her fight against the slime-spitting creatures. This is the NES port. I remember I didn't mind the movie Alien 3. I thought it was okay, from what I remember. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Dragon Warrior 4. RPG fans rejoice. The fourth Dragon Warrior adventure from Enix is on the shelves, and it's big. This installment features five different chapters. The first 4 chapters feature different adventurers in different areas of the Dragon Warrior world. Chapter 5, larger than the first 4 chapters combined, brings it all together. The chapter concept is great. What's that say? Is great. It gives the players a great sense of accomplishment by having smaller games within a larger game. It's very important, especially with games that take a long time to complete, to attain many goals while you play. Enix aptly delivers this goal-oriented style of gameplay with Dragon Warrior 4. Look at that artwork. That's pretty cool. There's the Zenithian sword. Here's the world here of Dragon Warrior 4. Chapter 1 takes place here with Ragnar McRyan and Tale of the Missing Kids. Chapter 2 is Princess Elena from Samoska, I think it's called, the Russian area. And she's an adventurer, and she leaves the castle. And she goes on her adventure to join a tournament. Chapter 3 is Torneko Talun, the arms merchant who wants to move to Endor and get a better life for his family by buying his own shop. And Chapter 5, or 4, is the Sisters of Moonaham. What's that song called? The place called? I forget where they're from. One's a fortune teller, one's a dancer, Mara and Nara. They want to revenge their father's death at the hands of Balzac. They meet Orin, I think it is, their father's lab assistant, and go on a quest. And then after you beat these 3 separate stories, all the characters spread, and you start your main game story here in this tiny village where the hero is born in the mountains. Something happens, you go out in your quest, and you pick up these remaining characters all over who are looking for the hero. Ragnar in particular is looking for the hero. You end up finding Mara and Nara first, and then you work your way around, collect the characters, and you find out the bigger whole story. It's very, very good, very ambitious. The best, I think it's the best RPG on the Super Nintendo. That or Dragon Warrior 3. This one's very unique. The best yet. Dragon Warrior fans should really dig this new adventure. There's no big changes in the graphics department, but the strong points are the variety of characters and enemies, the goal-oriented style of play, and the fact that for a lot of players are already familiar with the Dragon Warrior games. You will assume the roles of various characters and will have the help of many other warriors. Hordes of new and improved enemies will confront you and your parties on the adventure. Chapter 1, The Royal Soldiers. Ragnar McRyan, captain of the Royal Soldiers of Berlin, it's Berlin, castle, risk his daily life in service of the king. Children in the surrounding lands have been disappearing. Why are they disappearing? At a staggering rate. It's a tragedy and it must be stopped. The king sends Ragnar McRyan to solve the problems. The children have a secret playground. There Ragnar finds the all-important flying shoes the innkeeper at Ismith Village was talking about. So once you beat Ragnar's quest, he finds out that the evil one, or one of the bad guys in the game, was kidnapping children because he thought that they would be they grow up to be the hero. So you find out about this by a fallen soldier in the tower, and you make it your quest to go look for this hero and protect him at all costs, and that's where Chapter 1 ends. Elena's adventure. Elena's journey in Chapter 2 will take more time to complete, and will take her to more places than Ragnar had to go in Chapter 1. She can handle it, though. She's tough. Sometimes in her own village, once called her a tomboy. The events that occurred in Chapter 2 lead Elena to enter the competition tournament in Endor. She enters to save the Princess of Tempe from marrying the evil Necrosaro. She must succeed. So you kick down a wall in your door, go outside on an adventure. Your tutor, Bray, who's a magician, an old mage, and your lover, he likes you a lot, but it doesn't really come across in the NES version. Christo joins you. He's a paladin who can heal and use some weapons. He's joins you as well. You find out that the princess is kidnapped. You get you give up the armlet of transmutation. You enter the tournament. You win. You're going to face Necrosaro, but something happens. He doesn't show up. You get summoned back to your castle and find out that everyone in your castle is basically gone, and that's where Chapter 2 ends. Chapter 3, Arms Merchant. The dreams of owning his own weapon shop drive Talon Torneko to take up his own quest in Chapter 3. There is trouble brewing in the kingdom of Bonimia, Bonmalimo, and Endor. Talon, remember Endor from the tournament? This is a neighboring town of, you live in Lacademia, a lake, some town up to the north. Talon knows that if he helps to alleviate the trouble, he'll have a chance of opening up a shop of his own in Endor. With the help of a few friends and a dog named Tove, Talon will get his own shop, but he'll have to earn over 60,000 gold pieces. So yeah, you earn the money, you sell, enemies in this chapter drop a lot of weapons and armor, you sell the iron stuff back to the castle who needs it. They're in short supply, and they give you money, and you also find a statue that pays a lot of money, 40,000, I think, for that debt. You have to buy your shop, then you get enough money to create a tunnel to the eastern lands. You buy your shop, your wife moves there, and then you decide, hey, I'm going to go out on adventure. And you go out, and that's where Chapter 3 ends. Oh no, this is on NES. Ninja, not SNES. Chapter 4, Sisters of Monbar. That's what it's called, Moonbara. Balzac, once a pupil of the great alchemist Edgar, killed his former teacher in order to steal his greatest invention. Mara and Nara, Edgar's daughters, are determined to avenge their father's death. Mara is the greatest dancer in the land, and Nara is skilled in the arts of fortune-telling and has a good knowledge of magic. First, they must return to the birthplace of Kieves in order to locate Balzac. So basically, you seek out Balzac, get the Sphere of Silence, which silence the spells, and you use it on Balzac. He can't cast spells, you beat him, but then Kilion shows up and smacks you around. You get put in prison. The king is in prison, you find out, and he gives you a pass to escape, shows you a way out, and you leave, and that's where Chapter 4 ends. Chapter 5, The Chosen One. This is the main hero's chapter. All through the first 4 chapters of Dragon Warrior 4, you will have used characters that were provided to you. However, in Chapter 5, you get to use a new hero. When you begin the game, you'll enter a name for yourself. This is the name that will be given to the hero. Chapter 5 brings all the previous chapters and characters together to save the world. You will travel to many places where you have previously visited, and will go to many places you have not yet seen. The evil force that you were warned about in previous chapters is now trying to arise. With the powers of all the characters combined, the evil force can be repelled. Patience will be necessary because Chapter 5 is very long. You borrow the wagon. I don't know. I forget what his name is in this game, but in the DS version, it's Hank Hoffman Jr. He runs an inn. The lighthouse fire, you light the lighthouse, you meet Talon, you get him back. Acquire the Padaquia seed, and you get Christo back, who is sick. You kill him with the seed. You avenge yourself with the Mara and Nara and beat Kilion. Make the king laugh to get the helmet, or the shield, I think it is, of Zenithian shield. Get the final key. Go to the palace of Necrosaro. And beat the seals on the palace. Enter. Summon the horn with the Baron Horn and fight Necrosaro and save the world. King Slime's Defer Treasure. This is Talon's chapter. When Talon arrives in the cave of the silver statue in chapter... Whoops, my light went off. Statuette in chapter 3. Leave all the items you find in the chest and only take the silver statue in chapter 5. The items in the chest will be more important to your party. That's interesting. I never actually did that. Different things happen at night. A very good game. Very, very good game. Very late on the NES, 1993. One came out each year since 1990 in the Dragon Warrior series. You had 1990 was the first Dragon Warrior, 91, 92, 93. This is 93 for the 4th one. We wouldn't get another Dragon Quest Dragon Warrior game until 2001 on the PlayStation 1 for Dragon Warrior 7. This is Mickey's Safari in Letterland. So little would we know, 1993 to 2001. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was 8 years. I never played this game. Oh boy! ABC's spelling. It's like a basic platformer, I guess. Widget. What's so hot about Capcom? What do Mega Man, Mickey Mouse, and Guile have in common? And why would Nintendo Power devote 4 pages to a single licensed company? All 3 characters in question star in hit video games made by Capcom, a licensee with a record for consistently coming up with top-notch products. We wanted to take a closer look at the company to try to analyze its winning formula and to find out why its games are so good. Mega Man. Mega Man's first debuted on the US video game scene in 1987 and quickly developed a large following of die-hard fans. Precise play control and an unusual cast of characters packed with personality made it an instant and entertaining hit with players. Street Fighter II. If you stepped into an arcade in the past few years, you saw a long line of players waiting eagerly to drop their quarters into Street Fighter II. Last year when it was released for the Super NES, they were able to challenge their friends at home. Mickey Mouse. Shortly after it became one of the 4 original Nintendo licensees, Capcom inked a deal with Disney, allowing it its rights to make games starring some of America's best-loved animated characters, including the marvelous Mickey Mouse. Behind the success story. Established in 1985, Capcom USA signed with Nintendo in 1986 and came out with its first games for the US market a year later. Since then, it has put together an enviable string of hits, beginning in 1986 with NES versions of arcade games, and continuing with last year's Street Fighter II and this year's 8-bit hit, Mega Man 5.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh.
What makes its game so successful? Joe Moriko, Senior Vice President of Capcom USA, says that it's the quality of Capcom games that sets itself apart. While any software publisher might make the same claim, Capcom's ratings support his statement. Of Nintendo's 70 licensees, Capcom consistently leads the packs to develop its winning games. Capcom employs 500 designers, more than any other licensee. It seeks out talented young designers who work in teams. Each team comes up with a concept and concentrates on one game until it's completed, which can take up to a year and a half. Another factor that figures in Capcom's success is that it takes first rare licenses and makes solid, entertaining games. Its early alignment with Disney gave the company the opportunity to bring some of the world's most well-known characters, including Mickey Mouse, to life via video games. Capcom's roots are firmly planted in the arcade, where it produced classics like 1942 and Ghosts and Goblins, and some of its biggest successes have been in bringing arcade games home to the NES and Super NES. Street Fighter II is a case in point. The Super NES version sold 1.5 million copies in the first 6 months. It was available in the US and became a mega hit worldwide. It's so popular in Europe that it's packed with the system in the UK. Replacing Super Mario and... I think I read this wrong. Replacing Super Mario, and when Nintendo Power ran its annual pick of the packs listed in January, it ranked number 1, knocking Nintendo's own game, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, out of the top spot. Our Capcom sources tell us that the arcade version of Street Fighter II is in development, but won't be... of Street Fighter III is in development, but won't be out for some time, which is the next arcade game you'll play at home. Capcom has announced plans to release Final Fight 2 for the Super NES in 1993. Hey, Soulfire, how's it going, man? How's everything? Just reading Nintendo Power Volume 46. Buster Bust Loose on the front. Talking about Capcom. Just went over Dragon Warrior 4, this great feature here. How's everything going? A Capcom chronology. NES is in purple. Game Boy is in purple. NES is in red. And teal is Super NES. Arcade is black. Arcade games. You had 1942 and 1984. Gunsmoke and Section Z. 1985. Avengers. 1986. Then... first games for the NES, Commando, 1942, Ghosts and Goblins. Then for the NES, you had Mega Man, Section Z, Trojan, Bionic Commando, Legendary Wings, Mickey's Mousecapade, 1943, and Gunsmoke in 1988. 1989 brought us Ducktales, Strider, Willow, and Mega Man 5 for the NES. 1990 was a huge year for Capcom's home development. Adventures in the Magic Kingdom, Little Nemo the Dream Master, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Codename Viper, Destiny of an Emperor, Mega Man 3, Street Fighter 2010, The Final Fight, Yo-Noid, and then also 2 Game Boy games, DuckTales and Gargoyle's Quest. 1991, with the release of the Super Nintendo, they were there with launch games such as Final Fight, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, UN Squadron. Game Boy production was still in high swing with Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, Mickey's Dangerous Chase, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Snow Brothers for the NES was released in 1991, as well as a little game called Street Fighter II in the arcades, as well as Captain Commando and King of Dragons. 1991, you were beat-em-ups and fighters were king. 1992, Bionic Commando. The arcade port, I thought that's interesting. I thought that was out. That might be a typo. Also for the NES in 1992, you had Darkwing Duck, Gargoyle's Quest 2, G.I. Joe, The Atlantis Factor, Gold Medal Challenge, Knights of the Round in the arcade, Magic Sword. Continuing on the SNES, you had a port of Magic Sword, Super Buster's Brothers, Street Fighter II, which we talked about. It actually won the Game of the Year last year over Link to the Past in Nintendo Power. The Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, a very nostalgic game for me. And Mega Man 4 came out for the NES, one of my favorites Mega Man games. 1993, you saw the release of Mega Man 5, Mighty Final Fight, a very late NES beat-em-up with chibi-style graphics, great sound, very fun to play, very fun. You actually had Cody, Guy, and Hagar. It was one player only, though. DuckTales 2. You also had Final Fight 2, Goof Troop, and MVP Football on the Super Nintendo, as well as ports of Tailspin and Darkwing Duck for the Game Boy, and Little Mermaid. Mega Man 3 also came out for the Game Boy. So that's their chronology from 84 to 93. It's going, just got home. Hopefully you can rest a little bit. Relax. Come back to 1993 with me. Mega Man, a chip off the old rock. When we ran a contest asking players to send in their ideas for Mega Man characters, we were flooded with entries. We sent them on to Capcom for future game considerations. Here they are, with all the letters of entries kids sent in for designing Robot Masters. In a video game world packed with superheroes, why does Mega Man stand out? Players cite the clean, sharp graphics, superb play control, interchangeable weapons, and the variety of enemies as some of the reasons they like the game so much. And whenever a new game is announced, everyone wants to know who the enemies will be. Mega Man is known as Rockman in Japan, where he has female cohort rumored that he was almost named Rainbow Man because he has 7 weapons and the rainbow has 7 colors. Fortunately, some far-sighted soul realized that Rainbow Man was a pretty wimpy name for a superhero, so they called the duo Rock and Roll. The US Mega Man games don't include Roll, and Moriki, who thought that Rockman had little meaning to the US audience, came up with Mega Man. So Moriki is the president of Capcom USA at the time. So it's because of him that we got Mega Man instead of Rockman. The game caught on in a big way in the US, prompting Capcom to create additional Mega Man adventures for both NES and Game Boy. A Super NES Mega Man game is slated for later this year, and no, we can't tell you who the enemies will be. 79. Oh, Richard, hello. Hello, Richard. 79 days remain till Brian's Pokemon month. No, Richard, don't get your hopes up. Please. Woot woot. Not you too, Soulfire. Please, don't encourage him. Don't encourage Richard. How are you doing, Richard? Mega Man is big business in Japan. He's so popular that sort of products everywhere from comic books to action figures feature the Mega Hero. The finest, fiercest fights. Capcom has made a name for itself by creating fighting games with intense head-to-head action, a genre which plays especially well in the arcade setting, where players line up for the chances to knock off the king of coin-op hits. While early arcade titles such as 1942 Section Z and Trojan made successful transitions to the NES market, Only mere recent games like UN Squadron and Final Fight were able to take advantage of the technology of the Super NES to really bring the feel, look, and sound of the arcade games home. Of course, Street Fighter II, with its simultaneous two-player mode, has become by far the biggest among arcade translations. Players hooked on the arcade version were finally able to have almost the exact play experience at home on the Super NES, and they responded by buying the game in record numbers. What's next? Capcom recently announced that Cody and Hagar will be back in a new Super NES version of Final Fight 2 later this year, which I played on my one stream and you saw it on my childhood SNES games. I also, on my childhood NES games, I forgot to play Monopoly and Snake Rattle and Roll, so we'll have to play through those another time. The Disney connection. I'm doing fine. We'll do even better. So I'm 79. Richard, I'm glad you're doing good, but please don't get your hopes up. Please, please. How's Dragon Quest XI coming, Richard? Did you save Rab? Are you on your way? Did you beat Avarith? Did you give him the poop? Did you get Sylvando back? Did you get Jade back yet? Tell me. Although Capcom has been tremendous successful with its Mega Man and Street Fighter II characters, it's still much safer to develop games based on characters that are already well known and liked. That's why Capcom's relationship with Disney has been important. Mickey Mouse, for example, is known and loved worldwide, so a game that puts him in the starring role will have the mass appeal that can make it an instant hit. That's not to say, though, that Capcom could stick Mickey in just any game, good or bad. Disney is very protective of its characters. It won't allow them to be used unless the product meets its high standard, which Capcom games do time after time. Many licensees develop and market their games in Japan and decide based on sales there whether or not to bring them to the US. Capcom, on the other hand, develops its Disney games in Japan, but the designers work with the American market in mind. That's why they scored big with games like The Little Mermaid, Darkwing Duck, and Ducktales. The characters may not be well known in Japan, but they certainly are popular here. Capcom will be coming out with Goof Troop this spring, and the really big news is that it's developing Aladdin based on the hit animated feature for release later this year. Hey, Kaduse, welcome to the party. We're looking at Nintendo Power issue 46 for March 1993. Tiny Toon Adventures is on the front. We also had the second issue of the Star Fox magazine. We had a Dragon Warrior spread, a nice, great Dragon Warrior, kind of an early guide. Not a guide, but a preview. We also had a Star Fox preview, really hyping up Star Fox. Now we're talking about what makes Capcom so great. Hope you're doing good. 79 Braze till Brian. No, don't let Richard hype you up. He's just beat Gildagun. Now I'm doing the stupid side quest to spawn the rare type G. Oh yeah, that guy who wants to avenge his brother. Yeah. I know that one. Gildaga. The Pokey hype is too big now, man. The Meowth is out of the bag. Oh, what have I done? What does the future hold? Aside from the games Capcom has officially announced, we can only speculate about what else is plans to produce in the future. If it continues with its tradition of translating hot arcade titles, we might see more of them join Street Fighter II and Magic Sword in Capcom's Super NES lineup, sometimes in the months or years to come. If today's big arcade hits become tomorrow's Super NES titles, we might see games such as Knights of the Round, you do, King of Dragons, you do, Captain Commando, you do, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, not on the Super Nintendo, make its way to their home systems. In the meantime, players can anticipate Final Fight 2, Super Mega Man, and Aladdin, to name but a few of the hot games that keep Capcom at the top. So here you have Knights of the Round, Magic Sword, King of Dragons, Captain Commando, and Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. All of those except Cadillacs and Dinosaurs got pretty good Super Nintendo conversions. Oh, here we go, guys. Eventually, he'll get to a Nintendo Power with Pokemon. It'll be a little bit. We're in 93. Pokemon doesn't come out till 98, I think, here. So it'll be 5 more years. Looking forward to that. And 79 days. Richard, no, jeez. I'm never gonna say I'm gonna play something again on this channel. Nintendo Power Awards 1992. Super Mega Man. Oh, the beta name for Mega Man X. Yeah, I thought that would get your attention, Ninja. Yeah, that's they didn't know what to call it, so they just called it Super Mega Man, I guess, because they knew, hey, Capcom said we're developing a new Mega Man game, so they just called it Super Mega Man. Nintendo did, I guess. The Nesters Awards. These are the best games and categories for 1992. This year marks the 5th time that the Nestor Awards, I'm going to cover this up so you guys can't see, the 5th time that the Nestor Awards have been given out from their auspicious beginning back in 1988. The Nestors have always given Nintendo's nod to the best games of the year. Just in case you're wondering what games have won Nestors, we'll take a brief trip down Nintendo Power's memory lane. In 1988, the NES was only the system that Nintendo had available. The Nestor for the best overall game went to Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. While the Nestor for the best challenge went to The Legend of Zelda in 1989. Nestors went out to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for best overall game, and Mega Man 2 for best graphics and sound in 1990. So Ninja Turtles beat Mega Man 2 for best overall. Game Boy was concluded in the voting. The 1990 Nestors for best overall Game Boy game went to TMNT, followed with Foot Clan. NES Nestor for best overall game went to Super Mario Bros. 3. Last year, in 1991, the competition for the coveted Nestor was tougher than ever before. The Super NES was introduced to the public and was also included on the ballots. Battletoads took the best overall Nestor award in 1991, while the best overall games in the Game Boy and Super NES categories were Metroid 2, Return of Samus, and Super Mario World, respectively. We eagerly await your votes so we can crown the winners for 1992. So these are the nominees. Oh my god, this shit. Yeah, this shit again. Exactly. Whenever I do the countdown, folks, I ask you to read it and imagine the Majora's countdown. 72 hours remaining, yeah. So here we go. For 1993, the nominees for Best Graphics and Sound. For Super NES, Addams Family. Number 2, Roadrunners Death Valley Rally. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Number 4, Soul Blazer. And number 5, Super Star Wars. For Game Boy, Batman Return of the Joker, Looney Tunes, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, Mega Man 2, and Prince of Persia. For NES, Darkwing Duck, The Empire Strikes Back, Krusty's Funhouse, Mega Man 4, TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project. Yeah, I've played this. Good point so far. I'll just play the Song of Time and reset the timer. Theme and fun. What makes a game fun? It's usually a combination of elements, but it's hard to say exactly. The games released in 1992 brought the concept of fun in video gaming to a higher level. Please choose your champion in each category. For Super Nintendo, for best theme and fun, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Mario Paint, The Simpsons: Bart's Nightmare, Street Fighter II: The World Warrior, Super Star Wars. For Game Boy, Bionic Commando, Boggle Plus, Kirby's Dream Land, Looney Tunes, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. For NES, you have Krusty's Funhouse, Mega Man 4, Rampart, Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six, and TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project. Prince of Persia. Every time I say Prince of Persia, you do that. Nestor's bad taste if he's naming. Hey, Soulfire, not you too. Not you too, Soulfire. Cut it out. Hey, don't make me play the song of Double Time and skip straight to the Wrecking Day, aka Brian's Pokemon baptism. For challenge, the games that usually rate the highest are in the challenge category are the games that can test the skill level of every player, not just the experts. Action and role-playing games received the most nominees in this category. For best, thanks Ninja for getting rid of the bot. For challenge, we have The Addams Family, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Space Megaforce, Super Smash TV, Super Star Wars. For Game Boy, we have Batman Return of the Joker, Bionic Commando, Double Dragon, Mega Man 2, and Ultimate: The Runes of Virtue. For NES, Darkwing Duck, Dragon Warrior 4, G.I. Joe: The Atlantis Factor, Mega Man 4, and Prince of Persia. Q Richard with his Prince of Persia hearts. Play control. No matter how great a game may look and sound, if you can't control your characters very well, your appreciation of the game will be limited. There can't be enough focus placed on this extremely important aspect of gaming. Who's in control? For Best Play Control for 1992, for the Super Nintendo, nominees are Contra 3: The Alien Wars, Street Fighter 2: The World Warrior, Super Mario Kart, Super Star Wars, and TMNT 4: Turtles in Time. For Game Boy, nominees are Batman Return of the Joker, Gradius: The Interstellar Assault, Kirby's Dream Land, Mega Man 2, Super Mario Land 2: 6 Golden Coins. For NES, Darkwing Duck, Felix the Cat, Mega Man 4, Power Blade 2, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project. So these are your Nestor nominees for the best of 1992. Good luck to the nominees. Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, we got 2 more pages. Okay. Brian's signature Pokemon are Snorlax and Slowpoke. Is Slowpoke a Pokemon? I know Snorlax is, but I never heard of Slowpoke. I know Slowpoke was Speedy Gonzales' cousin. Slowpoke something. For Best Hero, there were many outstanding heroes to choose from this year. Factors that should influence your decision are the character's strength, agility, valor, and wisdom. He will be left standing in the dust. When the dust settles, only you can decide. So for any system, best hero is Chun-Li. The nominees are Chun-Li, Darkwing Duck, Guile, Link, or Mega Man. For best or worst villain, the baddest of the bads have to come together for your disapproval. They don't really give a rip who you think should be crowned, oh, most evil one. But we sure do. Which one of these nasty characters do you love to hate the most? Nominees for best villain on any system are Argonym, Dr. Wily, Evil Jafar, M. Bison, and Wario. Most innovative. It isn't often that a game comes along and catches everyone's attention because of its originality. The games nominated in this category use the newest video game technologies and programming perspectives to give video game fans a refreshing challenge. For most innovated, on Super Nintendo you have Mario Kart, Mario Paint, NCAA Basketball, Out of This World, and Super Faceball 2000. So it's funny that they most innovated, they just put NES or SNES. They didn't put Game Boy, NES. They just said, no, the only innovative games can come from the Super Nintendo. That's it. For best sports games, you have Super Batter Up, NCAA Football, John Madden Football, NLPA Hockey, and Roger Clemens Baseball. For best overall, this is the big one. Probably Bison. Man's a literal personification of a psycho, like the Psycho Crusher, yeah. He spins around. I think he blocked that. It takes he dodged 5-6 different times as he goes right through you. Best overall. This is the big one. The game that emerges victorious in the categories will be crowned the big cheese of video games for 1992. Consider the nominees carefully. Every aspect of the game counts in this vote. Remember, you can only vote for one. Okay, guys, I'm going to ask you for best for each of this. You guys can comment. For best Super Nintendo, Contra 3: The Alien Wars. Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Mario Paint, Street Fighter 2, Super Mario Kart, Super Star Wars, and TMNT 4 Turtles in Time. For Best Overall Game, 1992, for the Super Nintendo, those are your nominees. For Game Boy, Batman Return of the Joker, Bionic Commando, Kirby's Dream Land, Looney Tunes, Mega Man 2, Prince of Persia, Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins. Kuse says A Link to the Past for his best overall. Good choice, good choice. I know that Ninja will say Kirby's Dream Land for Game Boy for sure. Another nominee for A Link to the Past from Richard. For NES, we have Best Overall, Darkwing Duck, Dragon Warrior 4, The Empire Strikes Back, Krusty's Funhouse, Mega Man 4, that's another Ninja favorite that's going to be on there, Spider-Man, Return of the Sinister Six, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project. Richard says for Game Boy, Prince of Persia, with no hearts this time. And Ninja says he doesn't even need to say what he's nominating. That's a vote for Kirby, the Curbster, Kirby's Dream Land. So those are your nominees for NES. And of course, Ninja with Mega Man 4 for NES. Of course. I knew it. You wouldn't disappoint me, Ninja. Oh boy, here we go. The top 20. Super Mario Land 2 has taken #1 spot for the Game Boy by a landslide, scoring twice the points that Metroid 2 did. Tecmo Super Bowl holds on to the top spot on the NES charts for the second month in a row, but Mario is fighting his way back to #1. So here we go. For the Super NES, #1, Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. #2, Super Mario Kart. #3, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. 4, Mario Paint. 5, NCAA Basketball. Notable titles in the next 15, Final Fantasy 2, Magical Quest, Run Runners, Death Valley Rally, John Madden's Football, ActRaiser, Turtles in Time, Contra 3, Castlevania 4, and Final Fantasy Mystic Quest rounds out the 20th spot. Most of these games they list are really that interesting, outside of it being pretty average or neat. Aren't really that interesting. Well, remember, this is 1992, Ninja. This is early Super Nintendo. So all this stuff was pretty interesting then. What about the category Best Series that hasn't been invented yet? I vote for Pokemon. That's not a category, Richard. You have about 5 years for Pokemon. Yeah, I ask you to be patient. Game Boy, here we go. Super Mario Land 2, The 6 Golden Coins. Metroid 2, Return of Samus. Kirby's Dream Land. Super Mario Land. Tetris rounds out the top 5. Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge. Final Fantasy Legend 2. Altered Space, never heard of it. TMNT, Back from the Sewers. Mega Man 2. Fall of the Foot Clan. Final Fantasy Legend. Final Fantasy Adventure, which I just played through, is number 19, and Mega Man 3 is the 20th. For NES, I'm not going to get mad at Tecmo Bowl being #1. Tecmo Super Bowl being #1. I'm not going to get upset like I did last time. Beating out Super Mario Bros. 3 by a mere 1,000 points. Legend of Zelda climbs his way back up to #3. Battletoads, #4. Mega Man 4, Ninja, is up there at the top 5, #5. TMNT 3, The Manhattan Project. When haven't I ever been... Never not been impatient. Never been not impatient. You're confusing me with that wording. Metroid, Final Fantasy, never been not impatient. When have I never not been impatient? Never. You're always impatient, right? Is that what you're saying? Final Fantasy, Tetris, Dr. Mario, Mega Man 3, NES Tournament Golf, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link is at 14, Super Mario Bros. 2, Tecmo NBA Basketball, Yoshi, Monopoly, Tiny Toons Adventures, and Baseball Stars. So that is your top 20 for March 1993. That is the point. Oh, okay. Got you then. Okay. I thought there was some hidden meaning there. Super Castlevania 4 is on there, and I think I see a Simpsons game. Yes! Super Castlevania 4 is indeed on the top 20 at number 18, but Simpsons Bart Nightmare beat it out. It's at number 14. And Richard chimes in with Zelda Pooh. Thank you, Richard. I knew that was coming. You missed your earlier shot to do that, Richard, when I mentioned that it won Best Game of 1998. You missed to say Zelda 2 when I was covering past awards. Now playing. This is the sequel to Rival Turf, Brawl Brothers, 2D beat 'em up, or 2-player beat 'em up. Nothing new in the street fighting genre, a small variety of moves. So that's the cons. Good graphics and cool characters, plus some easily performed special moves, set this game apart. 2-player action is a must on this type of game. Tiny Toon Adventures. Buster's high-speed design dash is great. Look for outstanding graphics and sound. Also look for a wide variety of game stimulation, from strategic bunny hopping to bonus rounds. The theme of the game might attract younger players who find it too challenging. I love how much you love my love for hating things. Yes, Richard. It's part of who you are. I know. Ultimate Fighter, Adventure Island 2. Sumo Fighter, never heard of that. Milon Secret Castle, the port for the Game Boy. Tailspin. That must be also a port of the NES version. Tumble Pot, never heard of that. Lethal Weapon on NES. The action is non-stop, and you have your choice of characters, each which has its own offensive fighting strengths, which adds to the variety of play. The game doesn't capture any of the feeling of the movie. Hit detection when you're not shooting an enemy character requires you to be lined up precisely with him. Overall control is rather poor. Okay, Soulfire, thanks for stopping by for a bit. Have a great evening. I appreciate it. Loving Pokemon is part of what we all are, and soon it will be part of you too, in 79 days to be precise. I have to learn to not talk so much, because you guys hold me to stuff so hard. Hey, Madman, how's it going? Good to see ya. How's everything? Dragon Warrior 4, what did they say? Good points. Multiple characters and storylines, a huge world to explore, new fighting tactics for parties. The bad points. The graphics are not as high quality as the previous Dragon Warrior games. The quest in Dragon Warrior 4 takes place in 5 chapters, each with different characters and missions. The world is huge and the story is compelling. Other innovations include the use of tactics during combat in Chapter 5, so you don't have to command each party member. This month's review should help you over the hurdles of this sprawling adventure. Enix suggested retail price not available. Retail release date October 1992. Memory size 4 megabits. Game type role-playing adventure, 4th in the series. 79 days, things will be interesting. Yeah, either way, things will be interesting, could you say. Hello, Patrick. Good to see you again. How's it going today? Patrick says, hello all. That's what that means in Albanian. Hello, Patrick. Packwatch Battletoads and Battle Maniacs. The first of the Toads games. The Super Nintendo Battletoads game we got. Super Bomberman with the multi-tap. Railroad Tycoon, Pocky and Rocky. Nanmood says Natsume's second Super NES title may be one of the hidden gems of the year. It features beautiful graphics and lots of playability. The overhead view gives the game a mystical ninja look, but the 8-direction shooting action of the characters is much more involving than ninja. For 1 or 2 players, This is a fast and variety play. Excuse me. This pack watcher preferred using Rocky, a raccoon, to Pocky, a little kid, mainly because Rocky looks much cooler and can become an invincible statue. Well, that's good enough reason is all to pick the raccoon over the kid, I guess. Yeah, we are a bunch of terrible people for holding people accountable for what they say. Richard. Outlander. Mario is missing. Superman. That must be Death and Return of Superman and Duck Dodgers. I haven't played Duck Dodgers. That's a different looking Superman game, though. I remember Death and Return of Superman. Kirby's Adventure. Here, Ninja. Is Ninja still here? I'm gonna read this. This is for Ninja. This will bring him out of lurking here. Kirby, that expansive little fellow from the Game Boy action hits, is coming back, but this time in a game for the NES. Kirby may look like an innocent little windbag, but really he has a great exhaustions. His main weapon is to suck in his enemies. In Kirby's Adventure, there are special bonus areas besides the main action stages. In one, Kirby has an Old West showdown. This pack watcher was impressed by the variety of actions. Not only does Kirby expand, he can also shrink, fly, run, and more. Brian says Richard like a disappointing mom. Never thought of that. Guess it did kind of sound like that. Some of the best news to reach the pack watch desk this in recent rinks was the announcement that Scrooge McDuck would soon be back for his second NES adventure from Capcom in Ducktales 2. The new game, due out in spring, includes Scrooge's 3 plucky nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, in an adventure that spans the globe, in a quest for the lost treasure of the McDucks. They'll visit Egyptian pyramids, a Scottish castle, and the Bermuda Triangle, in addition to 3 more areas. Also on the Disney front, our Capcom sources told us the Goof Troop for the Super NES is coming this summer. Brian is the boomer little brother I never had nor wanted. Ouch, Richard. Did this cuck call Kirby? He did indeed. I like how that's what you picked up on. He did. He said, for the NES, Kirby may look like an innocent-looking little windbag, but he's really has great exhilarations. Who sucks enemies. Yeah, that's what he's basically... Oh, look at that. That's the... Mega Man was just one of the stars that went in. Look at that picture of Mega Man. How'd you like to be the guy dressed up as Mega Man at CES 1992? Or 1993? Nintendo of America showcased Star Fox, first announced to the world this January issue of Nintendo Power. Star Fox NES Super NES development was the first chance to see what the Super FX chip could do. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Game Boy was far and away the biggest news for the portable system, while Kirby's Adventure and Yoshi's Cookie were both welcome titles for the NES. Capcom, as always, has a bundle of hot titles starring Final Fight 2, the sequel to Final Fight. You'll even see some Street Fighter 2 favorites, Goof Troop for the SNES, Aladdin, Mighty Final Fight for the NES. Smaller characters than the Super NES game, but they still have lots of moves. Konami's Batman Returns for the Super Nintendo. But the big... Konami also told us that Rocket Knight would be coming to the Super NES as Sparkster. We got Sparkster. And for the NES, we had Zen Intergalactic Ninja and Raging Fighter for the Game Boy. Games based on Batman the Animated Series, TMNT 3. Claim has 2 football games. Bubsy the Bobcat was one of the biggest hits of the show, along with Mick and Mac. Virgin Games, LucasArts was showing Monsters, temporary title, which is an action game, which is an overhead view, great gameplay, wonderful, weird sense of humor. That must be that King of the Monsters game where you fight in overhead view. Battletoads and Double Battle Maniacs, a new NES game, Battletoads Double Dragon. Electro Brain had Feature Zone and Super Turrican from Sika. Run Saber from Atlas. Jurassic Park from Ocean. Spectrum Holobyte had Star Trek The Next Generation. Absolute, who gave us Boys' blog, has Star Trek The Next Generation for Game Boy. Deep Space... there's no word yet on who will pick up Deep Space Nine. I don't think it ever did get a game. Fantasy games will want to take a look at... Gamers will want to take a look at ASCII's Dominus. Final Fantasy Adventure 2. Final Fantasy 3. An exciting globe... the Super NES spans an entire globe with Zelda-like adventure and RPG gameplay, while Final Fantasy 3 follows the RPG tradition of Final Fantasy 2. Seventh Saga from Enix is a step up from the classic Dragon Warrior series. The battles are well animated. You can see monsters and insects green while wandering in the overworld. Sports Illustrated football. Brett Hall's hockey. Basketball. Rock and roll racing. There's a Goomba from the upcoming Super Mario movie. Shame this was Mega Man's only real chance to shine before becoming a retro series as its only notable legacy. Thankfully, it has amazing fans who make great fan content. Like your Mega Man Maker game, right? Bruh, what is that? This guy? That's Mega Man right there. Right there. That's Mega Man, could you say? Is that what you mean? At least Final Fantasy and Street Fighter were still popular. Yes! Street Fighter especially was really big. Simance, Lord of the Rings, Interplay at Vegas States, Nintendo Utopia, Troddlers, Might and Magic 3, which we looked at in my childhood SNES games, Koei's Pacific Theater of Operations, Yoshi's Cookie, Bulletproof software in addition to much improved graphics and sound. This 16-bit cat soars over the NES version, having extra games designed by... Okay. Mario is Missing, Happily Ever After, Turrican. Look at all these games coming out. The Adventures of Pinocchio, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Star Fox. At the same time, a few of the titles were true standouts. Star Fox was probably the biggest hit with showgoers, but Final Fight 2 might be another. Street Fighter 2 when it reaches the stores. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is really the only outstanding news for Game Boy until Konami comes out with its new Batman and TMT titles. As for the NES, fewer titles are being developed for the older 8-bit system, but some of those continue to be excellent games. Battletoads Double Dragon, Kirby's Adventure, Mighty Final Fight, Ducktales 2, and Yoshi's Cookie. So there's Battletoads Double Dragon, there's Rock and Roll Racing by Blizzard. There's a Bubsy the Bobcat. Well, yes, the Super Mario Brothers movie, 3D. At least it won't be the worst Mario movie. Oh gosh, shots fired at the new Mario. Ninja, your pessimism is funny. I know who it is. I just don't know why he looks like that. He's like, come on. Imagine being somebody dressed up as that. That'd be fun. I watched the Mario Brothers movie in the cinema as a kid. It was interesting. I guess that's the... I've never seen it yet. I guess that's the way to put it. Interesting. Rotiel keeps saying it's free up on archive.org. You can watch the director's cut version. I just never saw it. There's Final Fight 2. Nintendo Power teams up with Kellogg's, and you can get like a strategy maps for Nintendo's most popular games on the boxes of Kellogg's Apple Jacks. That's interesting. Collectible PowerPoints and Frosted Mini Weeks boxes to get up to $15 off selected games. rebate offers for games on Raisin Bran. This cool looking watch here for Tetris Watch. That's on Kellogg's Double Dip Crunch. Oh, that was a good cereal. I like Double Dip Crunch. Double Dip Crunch. On Corn Pops, you can find game ID tags from Nintendo. On Kellogg's Cinnamon Mini Buns, you can save your proof of purchases from the box to get free posters of one of featured Metroid 2, The Return of Samus, the other featuring Super NES hit Super Mario World. Ordered back issues. Next month is a big one. Star Fox. It's the Star Fox review. The Super FX chip is here. And Star Fox has it. Fast action and incredible graphics make this game a winner. Our feature will cover playing tips and tactics from the pros. For Game Boy Kid Dracula, unlike the pale Transylvanians you are accustomed to, Kid Dracula is on the good guys team. Check out this lighthearted game with big comic-style graphics and 8 stages. Ducktales 2, Flintheart Glomgold is on the loose. Capcom has called Uncle Scrooge into action again. The first DuckTales adventure proved to be a big hit. Part 2 should be more of the same. And here you see their ad, like last issue, for the Super FX chip. They're really hyping it up for the release of Star Fox. And that is Nintendo Power Volume 46 from March 1993, with Buster Bunny and Babs Bunny of Tiny Toons fame on the cover, promoting Tiny Toons Adventures Buster Bust Loose, with the look at the games which I covered for Winter CES, which would eventually move to, all the game stuff would move to E3 in the coming years. Not for a few more years, though. So we still have CESs in Chicago. I wonder what will be Miyamoto's approach to movie making. Special effects and action scenes first, story and... he can't do that for movies, right? He has to put more emphasis on stories in these games, in these movies. I saw Jurassic Park as a kid, too. It was better than anything. Yeah, especially better than... I haven't seen the Mario movie, so it might be better than Jurassic Park. I just doubt it. By the way, Brian, you finished Star Fox and Easy Read. I did the medium read already, Hockey. It's on my channel. You can search Star Fox. I tried the hard route on my SNES games, and I got about the 3rd route in, and I died. So I do want to do the hard route. But I did finish the easy and medium routes. But I remember that stream. Yeah, I put it in and beat the easy route. And you were there, I remember. You asked me to put it in. Because I was playing Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures, and I asked what to play, and I put in Star Fox and beat the easy route. Well, that's it for this issue. Thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate it. Everyone's stopping in. Ninja, of course, is here. Richard, of course, is here, ribbing me. Soulfire was here. Kaduse stopped by. He's still here. And Hacky Madman's here. I appreciate it. Have a great evening. And I'll talk to you soon. If it be a Nintendo Power Magazine or something else. Okay, take care.